6:15, this is Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. Measures will be taken to make the employees who are working on casual, relief and contract basis in the local government bodies permanent. State Minister states that the state income has increased due to the economic reforms initiated by the government. Sri Lanka wants 2024 Summit of Future to bring forward action-oriented outcome. Measures have been taken to provide training on sign languages for the election officers. In news overseas, US to give Kiev long-range missiles. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. State Minister Janaka Wakkumbura told the SLBC that the proposal submitted to the Parliamentary Advisory Council to make the employees who are working on casual, relief and contract basis in local government bodies permanent has been approved. He also said that the relevant cabinet paper will be submitted to Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. Under this program, 8,400 employees are to be made permanent. State Minister Shahan Semasinga says that the government was able to bring the inflation to a lower digit ending the economic crisis that existed in the country. This was achieved due to the reconstruction work initiated by the government amidst the economic crisis. He made these remarks at a seminar held in Anuradhapura. The seminar has been organized to educate the people on the progress of the government, new tax policies, IMF program, state income and the economic stability. He also stated that the state income has increased due to the economic reforms initiated by the government. Minister Mahinda Amaravira says that the Mahanayakas of the Malwatu and Askiriya chapters have advised him to initiate new agricultural programs with the participation of more youth community. He obtained blessings of the Mahanayakas this morning when he visited them. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri says Sri Lanka wants the Summit of the Future 2024 to bring forward an action-oriented outcome through which member states both in the north and the south can better cooperate and respond to global challenges. Addressing the UN ministerial meeting of the Summit of the Future at the United Nations headquarters, Minister Sabri stated that to do this, rebuilding trust and global solidarity will become crucial and we need to ensure that commitments are implemented. He reiterated that the summit must be closely aligned with the 2030 Agenda, the Addis Ababa Action Agenda, the outcomes of the Sustainable Development Goals Summit, which just concluded, as well as other multilateral platforms such as UNFCCC, that is the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Speaking further, he noted that ensuring a just global digital transformation that addresses the digital divide, threats from the technologies, efforts to counter terrorism and reform of the international financial architecture are priority areas for Sri Lanka. Commissioner General of Elections Saman Sri Ratnayaka says that measures have been taken to provide training on sign languages for the election officers. The objective of this move is to remove the obstructions faced by the community with hearing impairment to engage in election activities. 3 officials of the election officers of each district will be provided with the training. This project will be implemented in line with the International Sign Language Day. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. Measures will be taken to make the employees who are working on casual, relief and contract basis in the local government bodies permanent. State Minister states that the state income has increased due to the economic reforms initiated by the government. Sri Lanka wants 2024 Summit of Future to bring forward action-oriented outcome. Measures have been taken to provide training on sign languages for the election officers. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
The main news story for this evening, regulatory activities of school canteens will be expanded. Sri Lanka Health Inspectors Association said that the food items sold at school canteens will be thoroughly inspected. The association further stated that relevant activities will be taken soon in this regard. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
In Washla this evening, residents in Balapitiya say that the bridge across the Madhuganga to Madhua is severely dilapidated. This has obstructed the transport activities in the area. They request the relevant authorities to take immediate action to renovate this bridge. This is for the attention of the governor of the southern province. And that came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
It's the power to live life your way. The power to be a trendsetter. Power to you with digital banking from Commercial Bank. Commercial Bank. Our interest is in you.
Headlines of the World News media reports say that the US to give Kiev long-range ATACSM missiles. Poland's Prime Minister tells Ukraine's Zelensky never to insult Polish people again. Marriage declines in China as young Chinese choose dating, staying single. Those are the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the world news. U.S. President Joe Biden plans to give Ukraine advanced long-range missiles to help Kiev with its ongoing counter-offensive, U.S. media reports. They quote U.S. officials familiar with the issue saying Ukraine will get some ATACMS missiles with a range of up to 190 miles. This would enable Kiev to hit Russian targets deep behind the front line. At least 2 Ukrainian missiles hit the headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Fleet in annexed Crimea yesterday. Poland's Prime Minister has told Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky never to insult Poles again, returning to harsh rhetoric towards Kiev after the Polish president had sought to defuse a simmering dispute between the two countries over the issue of Ukrainian grain imports. Zelensky angered his neighbors in Warsaw, a key military ally against Russia, when he told the United Nations General Assembly in New York this week that Kiev was working to pressure land routes for its grain exports amid a Russian blockade of the Black Sea, but that political theater around grain imports was helping Moscow's cause. China's equivalent of Valentine's Day, known as Qixi Festival, has traditionally been considered as an auspicious time for Chinese couples to get married. Celebrated annually on the 7th day of the 7th month in the Chinese lunar calendar, Qixi is a celebration of romantic love between 2 star-crossed lovers, Xinu and Yulin. In the Chinese mythology, aiming for a romantic display on a romantic day, a marriage registration office in the city of Mianyang in Sichuan province decided to live stream the marriage registration ceremonies during this year's festival, which fell on August 22nd. And that was World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
This message is for all the kids between the ages of 4 and 16 who love to draw. Commercial Bank's Arunalusittam is back once again. This time, the competition is also open to Sri Lankan kids currently living abroad. First, second, and third place prizes will be awarded along with special merit and merit certificates. For more information, visit the Commercial Bank website. We have so many prizes to be won.
Development News.
In development news, the Maharama Utuvila Vava will be renovated at a cost of 10.5 million rupees by the Department of Irrigation. Water supply will be provided to 250 acres of paddy lands. That was the development news, and now let's move on to sports news. The opening ceremony of the 19th Asian Games, the largest sports tournament in Asia, will be held today under the theme Heart to Heart Future at the Olympic Sports Center's stadium in Hangzhou, China, commonly known as the Big Lotus. The stadium, which has a capacity of 80,000 spectators, was completed in the year 2018. This colorful event will showcase the cultural and history of Chinese as well as the sportsmanship and friendship between the participating countries. Chinese President Xi Jinping will attend the opening ceremony as a chief guest. Golfer Arura Rohana, who is the captain of the Sri Lankan's team at this year's event, and athlete Gayantika Aberatna, who is also named as a captain, arrived in Hangzhou yesterday. Along with that, several other teams, including rugby, also arrived in China. That was the sports news, business news coming up.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In business news, the first ever Jaffna Housing and Construction Expo 2023 seminar was successfully concluded at the Mutraveli grounds in Jaffna from the 15th to the 17th of this month. It was organized by the Aingaram Media Solutions together with the Chamber of Constructions Industry in Sri Lanka. The exhibition was inaugurated by Minister of Fisheries and Livestock Douglas Devananda together with the Deputy High Commissioner of India, Head of Chancery Ram Mahesh. There was a business news, economic news follows.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
In economic news, Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaravira said that the government has earmarked 12 billion rupees to facilitate farmers in procuring fertilizer for the upcoming cultivation season. This initiative aims to boost the agricultural productivity and support the country's vital farming sector. Farmers will receive 15,000 rupees per hectare, allowing them the flexibility to choose between the organic or chemical fertilizers based on their specific agricultural needs. That is economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
And finally, the weather report. Several spells of showers will occur in the western, Sabarkamua and northwestern provinces and in the Gaul and Mathura districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the central, Uva, eastern and north central provinces during the evening or night. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. Measures will be taken to make employees who are working on casual, relief and contract basis in the local government bodies permanent. State Minister says that the state income has increased due to the economic reforms initiated by the government. Sri Lanka wants the 2024 Summit of Future to bring forward action-oriented outcome. Measures have been taken to provide training on sign languages for the election officers. And in news overseas, US to give Kiev long-range missiles. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. And now it's back to your regular Saturday evening host, my good friend Shantima, on the other side of the glass panel to keep you entertained.